to another episode of the Pixelated Podcast. I am your host, Patrick Reif. If this is your first time joining us for one of our episodes, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for coming back. Excited to have another episode today with you guys. It's another information episode, and today we're going to be talking about renting a photo booth. Everything that you need to know to successfully rent a photo booth. So if you have been listening, you know that we do a few different styles of podcast here. We do some interviews. Sometimes we just do some fresh ideas. And sometimes we're looking to answer questions that all of you have about the world of photo booth rentals. So that's going to be one of our the episodes that we're doing today. Again, we're just going to be covering the ins and outs, everything that you might need or want to know about renting a photo booth for your next event, whether it is a wedding or whether it's a birthday party or whether it is a marketing launch for a sweet new running sneaker. Okay, so like, why might you want to rent a photo booth? So there's a wide variety of reasons you can want to rent a photo booth. Obviously, it depends a lot on the type of event that you're having. But just, like from a top level perspective, some reasons, right? So entertainment for your guests. Photo booth can provide like hours of entertainment. They can capture people's attention. They can go away, and then like as the night progresses, maybe people get a little more loose. Like they'll go back over and over again. They'll find new people to take photos with. So for entertainment's sake, that's one reason that you want to add it. A second one, kind of, I just mentioned it there a second ago. It's like socialization. So nothing beats a great icebreaker at the beginning of your event. Maybe the event has disparate people that they don't know each other previously, or they haven't seen each other in a while, and they kind of need to get reacquainted with one another. A photo booth is a great way to kind of have an icebreaker that's there, gets people having fun, gets them to loosen up a little bit, and kind of start to open up to the potential of that day's event. Next up is it's a great way to customize and extend kind of the look and feel of your event. So a great example of this, if it were a wedding, is like if you have stationery, or like you're doing a very classic Gatsby theme wedding, or it's a very flower centric garden wedding. You can extend that into the photo booth experience, and that could be the backdrop, that could be the overlay graphics that are on the photo prints. There's a variety of ways you can do it. The props that you choose to include. So customization, and then keepsakes, right? So sometimes this could mean photo booth prints. Sometimes the keepsakes are the digital mementos that they have. Like as we all know, sharing on social media is a very important part of almost everyone's life at this point in time. So giving them something great and that excellent digital photo that they're able to post on Instagram or put in their story or on their Snap, or use as a few pieces that they're going to put inside of their TikTok that is an overview of their whole experience at your wedding. Great way to do it. On the other side, like if it's a college university basketball game, and like you want everybody to have like the mascot in the corner, or you want them to promote the rallying cry for the teams, go dogs. It's another great way to do it, right? More keepsakes. And then kind of number 5 on my list to mention is for marketing purposes. And I kind of just mentioned that with the college or university, but the same thing goes for your ice cream shop. The same thing goes for Under Armour rolling out new sneakers, or GNC putting out some kind of health nutrition bar. All of those are valid ways to extend using a photo booth for like marketing purposes. So moving on, like our next big question that we're going to ask about is, are photo booths worth it? Like, is it a worthwhile thing to add to your event? So firstly, like we've covered it, they're a fun interactive activity. They're going to engage your guests. They're going to help break the ice. But also they're going to give them a takeaway. They're going to give them something to remember the event by, and that is a good thing. Part of hosting an event is making sure that people remember that they were there and why they were there and why it was great. Again, secondly, being able to customize them and make sure that they, like extend the value of your event and how it looked and felt is another, perfect way. And then, lastly, the value that you're going to get back, like if this is a marketing event, the value that you're going to get back from having people have something that lives on after your event is over with, that has some kind of reference to whatever your business or the campaign that you were trying to drive against, is it's an extremely valuable thing. There's little doubt, if you think about it in terms of exposure and what you're trying to accomplish at that event, that giving people a way to remember uh, that your business was awesome, that you threw a cool evening event is certainly very valuable. So next question, overall bit is, like, how much should you spend? What should you expect to spend on a photo booth rental? So obviously these numbers can vary widely depending on where you are, right? So certainly like a photo booth in Des Moines is going to be different than a photo booth in Dallas. But that being said, in any market, there's also premium vendors, and there are more affordable vendors. So generally speaking, if we're talking about like a self-service booth, like something like Pixelated Offers, where we ship it out to you, those are going to start as little as $300 for the whole day. And then if you add things, they're going to go up from there. But that's your kind of jumping off point. Whereas the range of pricing you're to look at if you're thinking about a staffed photo booth is probably going to be somewhere in the $500-600 to $1,000 range. So that's going to give you your span of guests, span of pricing, not guests, not your span of guests at all, your pricing span for what you can expect to pay. Obviously, all of those packages come with different things included in them. Um, you know, uh, some will have props, some will have backdrops, some will do prints, some will not, and that's going to influence the pricing as well. But from a general jumping off point, that is where you're at. Another question that we frequently get is, how can I get a cheap photo booth? And while we don't think that a cheap photo booth is necessarily how you should think about it, there's nothing wrong with thinking about what can I do to make sure that I find a photo booth that fits my budget. So with that in mind, some of the suggestions that we would make to help you find a photo booth that is a great fit for your budget is to consider a few things. So first and foremost, definitely considering a self-service booth versus a fully staffed photo booth is a huge way for you to save a lot of money. So, generally speaking, and also specifically speaking, self-service booths are growing in popularity. There are a lot of companies, Pixelated is one of them, that offer self-service booths. And the whole idea behind our product is that we think that we have made it simple enough and straightforward enough that anyone, anywhere, can receive one of our boxes that gets delivered via UPS a day or two before your event and set it up and successfully create an awesome photo booth experience without needing to have staffing. That's what we do. The other side of it is that there's definitely an argument as well that there are weddings and there are events that is not the right fit for, and you need to have staffing, and we understand that. And maybe you can even find your own staff and have them run our kiosk. That's up to you. But from our perspective, we think that we've built a really great photo booth that doesn't require having staff there. So a big place for you to save money. Next step, research multiple vendors. Find what's out there in the market. Don't assume that the first person that you call, if you do want a staffed thing, don't assume that the first person that you call's pricing is indicative of everywhere in the market. There are a lot of vendors. There are a lot of different price points. Find the one that fits for you. Next up, you can limit the time rental. So this isn't so much applicable to DIY self-service kits because ours, and I'm pretty sure pretty much all of them on the market, they rent by the day instead of renting by the hour. So day by the hour. So another benefit of a self-service kiosk is that you get it for a much longer period of time. But that being said, if you're going in the direction of having a staffed photo booth rental, another place where you can potentially save money is to limit the amount of time. So rather than having a 5-hour photo booth, maybe you only have a 2-hour photo booth. There's a lot of give and take that goes in there, so make sure that you ask about that. And then next in the suggestion list to kind of save money is look at the different packages. Maybe there is a package where they don't need to bring the printer with them. Maybe there's a package where you don't add your wedding monogram to the photos. There's a lot of ways to save, and if you're on a budget, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of great photos and not having all the frills there. At the end of the day, the most valuable thing, and I think people forget about this, but the crazy valuable thing about photo booths is two things. One, and honestly, it's even true more than GIFs and video booths and all that stuff as well. Photos are timeless. That's a bottom line thing. Photos are absolutely timeless. Moving GIFs and video booths and 360s, those are all super cool. And in the future, we'll see how much we go back and revisit them. But photographs have been a thing for a century, and they will continue to be a thing because they are a static representation of a moment in time that we will always appreciate. So they never lose their value. And then secondly, I think sometimes we also lose sight of how much value happens in giving people something fun to do with one another. My initial idea for Pixelated was all about seeing family, people that I didn't even know at my brother and sister's wedding in late 1990s, and seeing they had a step and repeat, or sorry, not a step and repeat, an endless white backdrop and an analog camera that they were taking photographs with. And it was right next to the tent, so everyone could kind of see. It wasn't closed off. And no one ever saw the photos because, again, it was film that was being captured. But what everyone did see was they watched whoever was taking a photo with whomever else. And I believe he had like a stool and a rose or something like that. But there was this really infectious thing that was happening with people posing with one another. Seeing the love between people as they like figure out how they're going to pose and being silly and all that stuff. It created such a positive vibe. And that was the thing that resonated with me for a full 10 years until I finally started Pixelated. And I started to tell some friends, I started to tell Nick, and I started to tell our first partner, James, about this, like this thing and why it stuck with me. That is the thing that you want at your wedding, at your party, at your event. You want people finding one another and connecting through joy, and photo booths do that. And I know that sounds like absurdly aspirational and probably kind of precious, but that is the honest truth. That's why we started this company, is because creating experiences, no matter what the photo quality looks like, no matter what the adornments, and if it's the latest thing or it's not, the most valuable thing that happens in a photo booth isn't something that gets bottled up. It's something that lives on in all of your attendees' like hearts and their memories from the event. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I feel like that's a great place. We're never going to get through all of these ideas that I have. So like, let's make renting a photo booth a recurring podcast style, and we're gonna leave you with that right now. Make a great decision for your attendees so that way they have something amazing to do, and they will reward you with talking about your wedding forever, talking about your event forever, and giving you literally tons of amazing photo memories that you can look back on for years. Okay, I'm bringing it in. That's it. This was renting a photo booth, everything you need to know, although we're going to amend it to renting a photo booth, some of the things you need to know. If you have specific questions, put them in the comments. I'm also going to link back in the show notes to a big FAQ that we have of all of these questions that I'm kind of using to feed my crazy ramblings here. Two things. If you haven't yet, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, whether you're listening on Spotify Music or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast player you prefer. Make sure you hit follow. It makes sure that it ensures that you receive a notification every time we publish a new piece of content, and we want you to hear it and we want you to know. So please go ahead and do that. And if you love this episode and you love us, or you're just willing to be a kind soul, leave us a quick 5-star review. Say something cool in the review about why you like it. It helps more people find the podcast. We're just trying to reach our broadest amount possible. So that's it. I'm Patrick with Pixelated. Looking forward to seeing you all again soon. All right, that's it, guys. Peace.